Even though we are more connected than any time in history, we're also more isolated. In this video, I'll bring this truth into the light and show you how to transition from isolation to community. You know, we are all isolated to some extent. Think about it. Even as I was on my way over here to where I'm recording this video, when I was in the car on my own, I was isolated. I was left to my own thoughts. So I always say, even if it's in your own head, you're isolated. And there's nothing inherently wrong with being isolated, but it's the awareness that you are isolated. That's where the magic is. If you are aware of it and you know it, then you can start to understand its potential negative impact on you. I think one of the greatest things that I have to watch out for are thoughts that are popping into my head. I have to understand that those thoughts aren't me. They're just thoughts. And I have to choose to give them weight in my life. So there's a choice. Every thought I get, I can hold it up and say, okay, am I going to choose to let this thought control or impact the way I'm going to move forward, or do I decide to just let it go because it isn't in line with my values, my intentions for who I want to be? So that's a big step, is understanding that. So what are the ways, how do you go from isolation to community? The first step is you have to be honest with yourself about where and how you are isolated. And this can be very tough. You can't go in with the mindset. As a matter of fact, you probably should go in with the mindset that, yes, I'm isolated. Now let me think about all the times in my life where I'm isolated. Is it, you can start with when I'm sleeping, when I'm going to bed at night. If you live on your own, as I do, you can just say, okay, that's a time when I'm isolated. Whatever it may be, just think about honestly. And it could be even when you're at your job and you zone out and you get swept away by thoughts. That's a form of isolation as well. So you have to be honest where and how you are isolated. And I would err on the side of too much, to just think, wow, yeah, I think I might be isolated here and here and here. So this requires some reflective time. You can't just do this, in a 2-minute period while you're watching television or listening to a song. You really have to be intentional. So that's step one. Be honest about where and how you are isolated. And step two would be to write those things down. So once you've had a chance to reflect on those things, I suggest get to a quiet place, some place where you have some peace, and write them down. Just write them down. Don't judge them. Don't try to understand them yet. You just write them down. Well, here's where I think I'm isolated. Here's where I think I'm isolated. Make a list, and it could be a laundry list of things, because you're always going to go back and sift through it. So think of it as a brainstorm exercise and write down all the areas and ways that you are isolated, where and how. Step three, reflect on what you wrote. Okay, so as you reflect on what you wrote, so go through now. So you've done the brainstorm where you're just, you're going at it, you're writing down all these things. And now when you reflect, you want to look at each of the things you wrote down. And again, I suggest carving out maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it may be, in a quiet, peaceful place that you feel at ease. And next to each thing that you wrote down, note what wisdom you're gaining by understanding this. And the underlying thing with all of this is we were created for community. So this is the key. You're not created for isolation. We were not. So that's the fundamental truth that you have to accept going in, is that we were created for community. Nothing great's ever happened with one. You're always going to prosper more with others than you can on your own. So brainstorm the wisdom gained, and I guarantee you're going to get some wisdom there. When I think about me, I have higher energy in the morning, and the afternoon is when I can tend to get a little bit lower energy. So the example for me was, as I was isolated in the afternoon, if I'm at home, I just tend to just I don't know, watch something on television, listen to a podcast. If I don't have anything specifically planned for that time period, that's what I'll end up doing. So as I reflected on that, I'm like, wow, well, maybe I should shift and do my exercises in the afternoon when my energy is lower versus in the morning when I have high energy. And boom, got me out into community amongst people. Go to the gym, go for a hike, do whatever, but you're out amongst people. And I'm out of this isolation mode. So that's an example. The wisdom game. All right, so now you've got your wisdom. You know where and how you are isolated. You've come to grips with that. And step 4 is to choose the characteristics of your ideal community. This is a big step. And again, don't think about current necessarily, or you can too. You can think about, wow, if I could be in community with this person, or a person that has these characteristics, whatever they may be, adventurous, honest, truthful, genuine, whatever those characteristics are, just start listing them. Here are the characteristics of my ideal community. So that's step 4. Step 5 is you want to share all this work with one person who you would love to be in community with, who reflects the characteristics that you just noted. How cool is that? And you may know someone in your life after you do this exercise that immediately their name or their face pops into your consciousness. Well, then go ahead and choose that person. You may not. So you may have to do some work and say, wow, I really need to get wisdom from this, that the kind of people that I think would be healthy community for me, I don't have those people in my life right now. How do I seek them out? And this is where we can always help at LifeTransformed. We have a community of people who are for you, don't judge you, harmony with you. We'd love to help. We can do something called a serve call, see how we can serve you. This isn't to recruit you to our community, but it's we can help you find, if you're struggling to find a community or even a person that fits the characteristics that you noted above. And then step 6 always requires action. You have to take a small step forward. Just one small step. This is how you get, an item or something that is, what is that saying? An object that is in motion will tend to stay in motion. You have to take a small step forward. It doesn't have to be something big and monumental, but take one small step. If it's finding that community with these characteristics, maybe it's just maybe asking your friends, who do they know that has these characteristics? Asking, relative, who do you know that has these characteristics? Asking, a random person, Googling online characteristics, whatever it is, just take a small step. And then once you take that small step, give yourself a pat on the back and say, all right, now I'm going to take another small step. What's the next small step I need to take? I recommend just doing it a small step at a time, because you don't want to create a whole bunch of steps, because then you can get overwhelmed easily. If it works for you, you can do it. But I like the small step approach. It tends to work for me. Maybe it'll work for you. So those are the 6 steps to take you from isolation to community. So subscribe with the notification bell to receive regular updates. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button to see more like this, and comment down below. This can be with questions or answers to a question you ask, and we'll see you the next time on this amazing journey from isolation to community, where the next step beyond is freedom.